What's up? This is the DigiByte Comm Talk. I'm your host, Script Skynet, and I'm here with Cosmic Crypto Nick. How you doing?
What's going on, brother? How you been?
I've been good, man. Been good.
Let me go ahead and start off by telling you how much I appreciate you having me on. How excited I am to be here, and if it's okay with you, um, to be able to cement our newly found crypto friendship into the crypto universe. I would love to be able to give you an introduction to this show, cosmic crypto style, if you'll allow me.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of DigiByte Comm Talk. My name is Nick, your guest, not my show. How we doing? Something like that.
How you doing? How are we doing? How you doing? Love you. So, Nick, let me just also just say that. So, last night was the first time I came across your channel. All right, pretty spectacular with all the lighting.
Thank you.
And yeah, you had the blue, the deep blue, the shadow on the face, the purple, the pink lights, the cosmic atmosphere. Um, but you were much like it was pretty fresh to watch. It was really long, yet I watched it because it's about DigiByte. But you also had some news and uh, intermediate sessions, or like breaks and stuff in
Hmm.
between.
Right.
So definitely different, and I liked how you were like straight up in your mic and your, whatever you got, the spit splatter thing in front of your mic. It actually does really good with your voice. I watched one of your other videos like earlier. You totally dramatically changed. Now, people don't do that. I mean, people aren't capable of doing that. You know how long it took me to get to this point? It's hard. Change is hard, right? And criticism is sometimes hard if you don't know how to take it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you like did a 180 or 360 flip on your show, and I really like the style.
Thank you very much, man. And I got to tell you, the trick is, the trick for me is that we're doing a laid back, late night talk show host, basically, where I have the lo-fi beats playing in the background, and I pick these beats, one by one throughout the week. I try to set a mood for the show, and so what I like to do is usually I'll try to bring in people with some high energy, some high intro. We'll get some news going, the week that was type thing, and then I'll eventually try to bring down the energy a little bit, kind of settle down into it. And so the lo-fi beats playing in the background, and not only is it cool for the show, but it really kind of helps me with the energy flow. And so when I hear like a dramatic change in the beats, I'm like, okay, now I can start kind of settling down and start talking about something different. So it really adds a dramatic effect to it, which is what I'm going for. So yeah, I'm really happy you like it.
Yeah, so the only way I've been plagued and cursed. Oh, by the way, we have some people in the chat. Really excited. I've been plagued and cursed with music from apps like Splice on iOS, uh, from the App Store. And although you can edit, on your phone and all that, and then upload your what you think is, hey, this is one of a kind. It's me. I created it, and you use their music from their app. YouTube strikes it down because it's copyright.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the heck? Why are they putting copyright music on something that they're trying to allow you to be a creative artist.
Right.
And so, like, dude, I have like over 100 videos with people's copyrights, and I thought it was okay. Now to be monetized, all that has to be edited. And I don't know if anybody knows. It's hard to ask these questions because I'm doing it myself. and it's hard to find. But I don't know if you can. I know you can edit on YouTube, but I don't know if you can cut out and put your newfound music that you want in there instead of YouTube's. Here, try this.
Right, right. There's a lot of programs out there. I use a program called Envato. It's basically a monthly subscription, and it's all music where you pay your subscription, and you can they basically give you the license that you need. And so when YouTube scrubs the show for copyright issues and stuff like that, you'll get claims. However, all you need to do is show them your license that was given to you, and within a few days it's taken care of. So try to stay on the up and up as far as that goes.
Yeah, I don't know if you can cut and edit out your like my intro
Mhm.
because I just been like fooled and duped in that kind of creativity to so I had to rush and hurry up and make a whole new intro, and that's what everybody saw when the show started. So yeah, man. So let's get back to you. Like, did you do everything right from the get go? Did you research it before you started doing your own show about crypto?
You know, um, I've been in crypto um, since 2015, early 2015. I was still in the army at that time, and I was just about to get out. And my dad, actually, Danny D, who you see on the show every week, was the one that actually got me into Bitcoin. Now, I had heard about Bitcoin since early 2010. We used to use it to play Texas Hold'em, on Poker Stars and things like that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Because those Visa cards, they wouldn't let you upload your money. So we used to use Bitcoin, and at that time, we didn't know. We didn't know what it could do. We didn't know that it was going to take off the way it did. We didn't know anything about the tech aspect of it. So Bitcoin wasn't new. Now, towards the end of my army career, I started getting into investing. I'm like, look, uh, I know I know one thing is for sure is I don't want to go work for the man.
Yeah.
I had already done that for 4 years, and I was looking to do whatever I could to become financially free. So I started looking into investing. Now, it's really easy to know that when you get into investing, traditional investing, your returns are just you know minuscule compared to cryptocurrencies. And so it was just about to be that first big Bitcoin run. And my dad had kind of started planning it into me. At that time, I had started working with my dad. We were in the heating industry, and I was fresh out of the army. He's like, "Hey son, there's this app that I buy this stuff called Bitcoin." I'm like, "Yeah, I heard about Bitcoin." And I didn't really think too much of it. I was like, "Dad, you're gonna get scammed. You're gonna lose your money." And so I kind of let it go. And every week he was kind of bringing up, and he started showing me his phone. He was like, dude, like my money is going up as we speak. And I'm looking at his phone. We're at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I'm like, sure, Dad, whatever. He shows me his phone. It's like $1,000. 5 minutes later, it's like $2,000, 3,000. I'm like, okay, what? Obviously, I got to check this out.
Yeah.
So I did. I got I think it was Coinbase, something like that, Coinbase account. I started putting $100 here, $100 there, and you probably know what happened during that first Bitcoin bull run. And so at that time I was really just focused on the money making aspect of it. I wasn't too interested in the technology, and I did pretty well in that first run. I could have done much better had I had a plan. Had I researched good companies with utility, but I was blessed enough to really fall in love with DigiByte first, and that's something that I talked about in that last DigiByte show that you just watched. DigiByte kind of found me, and I was like, wait a second, I'm starting to compare these different coins, these different companies. DigiByte is obviously faster. It's the cheapest thing out there. Now, why is nobody talking about it? And I spent a lot of time on the Reddit forums, where most of the altcoin communities are. And it really just seemed at that time, and just like it is today, that a lot of the attention was more focused on those hype coins, i.e. Dogecoin. However, I'm not going to bash Dogecoin. It'd be counterproductive. I'm not trying to get anybody to stay away from Dogecoin. Go buy some if you want to. But what I want to do is I want to grow my money over time. I want to invest in good companies that are going to give me long-term gains. So DigiByte was that coin. However, it didn't seem like DigiByte took off the way that other altcoins took off. It did just a little bit, but in my head, I was like, why is this thing not the top altcoin in the entire market? So I kind of eventually said, you know what, bye DigiByte. You haven't really done much for me. I put a lot of money into you. I'm not seeing too much price action. I gotta let you go for now. And so I did for several years. And I got into a lot of different coins like Tron, BitTorrent, and things like that. But just recently, with this latest bull run, I was like, it's about time I pay DigiByte a visit again, and see if they're still who they aim to be. And sure enough, and I kind of knew this in my heart, they have continued to be not only the most underappreciated altcoin in the market, but the most undervalued as far as the work that they've been able to achieve. So that's why we're here today, and I'm really glad that I did get back into it. That's how you found me, and this is a big deal for me. This is me trying to network with other people who feel the same way that I do, as far as investing in coins with utility and not futility. And that's something that I'm going to say a lot over the course of my channel. So that's kind of where I'm at today. I'm just really surprised at how far DigiByte has come. And I think I checked earlier today, they're like number 90 on CoinMarketCap. And that's pretty it's pretty disgusting if you ask me.
It went from the 70s to the 80s or the 90s. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think it was. It actually dropped a couple spaces.
It's weird, and it went up earlier.
Yeah, and it's
strange.
CoinMarketCap is CoinMarketCap. Take it for what you will, but I think those of you, especially if you're new to DigiByte, in the DigiByte world, you are in the right place. And don't let anybody tell you different. Don't let the forums, don't let the Twitter or internet tell you that DigiByte is another Dogecoin, which is exactly what somebody tweeted at me today. Actually, he said DigiByte is another Dogecoin, and I was like, actually, no, it's not. It's full of real use cases. It's extremely fast, extremely cheap, and it wasn't made kind of in a jokingly manner. So, take it for what you will.
Exactly. Actually, it's like the exact opposite of Dogecoin. If these two were brothers, older, younger, it doesn't matter. But the older one is supposed to be looked up to. But even the younger brother can, be successful.
Yes.
What I mean? So, but it's the exact opposite. It took all the right steps for DigiByte. I mean, from the get-go, out of the gate, with everything. And just to build the most decentralized blockchain, that was the goal. And to keep it as a free utility a public utility that anybody can use and tap into and build upon. It's just, like you stated in your video, there's many other things that you said that I wanted to reflect back on. But one of the things that you said on your DigiByte video that I saw yesterday was that DigiByte once these ICOs and all these other coins started gaining more traction because of the hype and money, DigiByte saw no more love for some reason. And in some ways, you know, it's kind of like a catch 22 because you try to play all the right cards. People blame, DigiByte for making it. Well, it looks like a D from the DVD, and so that's why I don't buy it. But that's pretty jacked up. But anyway, like, but the thing is like, just it's a whole different movement. It's a
Yeah.
grassroots movement
Yeah.
built from the ground up. I mean, in some cases, really, when you're looking through all these cryptos, you really had to like look, and then you find the evolution of Bitcoin. If you just start with, okay, why are all these altcoins here, and what's going on, you start hearing about hard forks. You start hearing about 51% attacks. You start hearing about all this crazy stuff that's abnormal and alien and foreign to you, which if you don't do your due diligence right then and there, do your own research,
Yeah.
you're lost in hype. And that's all it is. I mean, it kind of like Elon Musk, where he said, it's kind of like a Cinderella story for him and Doge because he was the creator of PayPal, a payment system. All of a sudden, Doge is a meme coin. You have to give props to the Doge community because they, as a meme coin, worked really hard to get Elon to react. And
Yes.
you got to give them props for that, even though we know it's a meme coin and it's
Yeah.
inflated by 4% a year if you hold it. Every year, your Doge is inflated, and it relies on Litecoin blockchain with merge mining. So without Litecoin, it's dead in the water.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of shaky when you start doing your research. And when you see the evolution from Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and then DigiByte, and of course Dash is in there, and a few others that aren't even in the top 100. You start seeing that there was an evolution, and people that get into it now aren't hearing about DigiByte
Right.
because they're stuck in all the like Coinbase coins or all the offshore coins, basically like in China or something. But it is an OG. If you flip DigiByte, if you see DigiByte as a coin, that logo, and you flip it, it's a G on the back. It's a DigiG, right?
It's an absolute OG coin, and that's what people need to take into consideration here. It'd be one thing if DigiByte would have came around in 2017 with the others, and not only that, it really exploits the psychology of the market, like you said. People that are looking for those Coinbase coins, and you were talking about Elon Musk. If you guys have a chance, check out my episode on Elon Musk called Musk or Bust. Pretty much talking about how a guy like Elon Musk holds tremendous power in this market, and one would argue that he's essentially trying to take a coin like Dogecoin and something out of nothing and basically skyrocket it beyond belief. However, in regards to that last ICO rush, like I like to say, at a point, I was really kind of looking for coins like that just to make money, like anybody else. And that's the hard thing here is that the majority of investors, especially new investors, are just looking to make money, and a lot of them are looking to get rich really quick. And I firmly believe that that's the fastest, easiest way for you to get burned, especially when you start to study market trends, market cycles, market psychology, hype, and the hype cycle. You start to kind of over time you kind of start to mellow out a little bit, and you stop looking at your phone every second of every day because you think you're going to miss the pump of all pumps. You think I'm going to miss the boat. But, it takes a long time. You have plenty of time to make money in this market. And of course, making money in this market is only one facet of it, and I actually kind of gradually learned to appreciate the technology, especially of coins like DigiByte, because when it comes to transferring money, things like that, I really can't stand the fees that are associated with traditional banking these days, and for DigiByte to essentially have no fees is a huge plus for me. And not to mention that, not to mention the extremely fast transaction speed. A couple years ago, I had a buddy who lived in North Dakota. He was on some rough times, and he reached out to me and he said, "Hey Nick, I'm really sorry, man, but is there any way that you can just help me out? I just a little cash. I need you. I'll pay you back." And so I said, "No problem, man." I tried to explain to him um, about cryptocurrencies. I can get it to you really fast, but of course he's not very tech savvy, and so I had to use Western Union. It took about half a day for him to get his money, and not only that, to send about $500, it costed me about $100. And for a guy that had already been kind of introduced to the cryptocurrency market, blockchain, things like that, it was really hard for me to swallow that pill. I'm like, oh, this is what I wanted to avoid. And, I say it all the time, why pay that fee when you don't have to? Because to the normal guy, the normal person, those fees kind of sting a little bit, especially if you have a family. It's just something that we need to get away from, and luckily we are.
Yeah, I saw the same thing with just the industry as a whole, like crypto space. Like we needed, like, I don't know, after that bull run, it was like, all right, well, now people were coming up with, solutions like, or sayings like Bitcoin's gold, Litecoin's silver, and then it's questionable to have XRP or Digibyte or Ethereum the dollar, right? It's like, you've seen that thing just used over and over. And but through that transition, I invested in quite a few other cryptos. Tron was one of them at the time when I found DigiByte, because I was like, well, DigiByte's solid, and I have Litecoin, and so I'm just going to continue. It was called Coin Exchange, and I was they had a ton of cryptos, and a lot of them. What I didn't understand is the Coin Exchange had tons of errors and reports on these coins I was buying and wallet issues and stuff like that. So I was losing money left and right because all the money I was buying with them, I couldn't swap them, right? And so they were like dead, and I kept investing in like Swiss coin. I just thought
Yes. Yep.
I watched this thing on YouTube. ECC, they actually had development with their Sphinx wallet, where it's ANS crypto messaging back and forth securely. But I didn't realize I shouldn't have been looking for gems like everybody was saying um, at the time. For me, I should have looked at, okay, why are all these blockchains here? And if I would have discovered, okay, these coins are the Ethereum network, if I would have had that mindset saying, okay, this one's an ERC20, if I had that sooner, you know, in the beginning of 2018, I wouldn't have been, throwing money away. But some of them were like really known coins like Tron. Um, so, so that was good. But at the same time, like there was a lot of cryptos I put money in, I thought were going to be, something, and it turned out not to be, because the whole mindset was, okay, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and whatever was the last one, and then the whole DeFi space, these ICOs, what are they? And it ended up being a lot of these ICOs being an Ethereum coin, or you know what I mean, or a whole nother blockchain altogether competing, and it was really confusing at the time. But so that's when once I lost money on coin exchange and they went down and I was unaware. It didn't say on the exchange, not that I saw, warning, don't put your money in here. We're closed now. You know what I mean? Um, but then I just had to stick with, um, I stuck with the Litecoin TA, Bitcoin TA, people, Litecoin community, DigiByte community, trying to figure out more about DigiByte because I was already in the Litecoin, and then just go from there. And I started mining it, mining Litecoin first, then DigiByte. But the thing is like, man, there are so many things like Altcoin Buzz. You give them a shout out. I don't watch them anymore, but I know they're into DeFi. They like looking at all these new gems, and all these channels talk about new gems. And in a strategy move, if everybody's talking about it, it's probably a good idea to put like $100 in it or something. You know what I mean? Because that's just the way it works. And yeah, and but again, DigiByte's one of those things that I believe is it's going to rock the world. And I don't want to get this guy not noticed. So, oh, this is your dad, by the way, right?
Danny D, what's going on? I think we got Danny D. We got my boy SC.
Oh,
Uh,
SD's in the house.
SC's my guy. He's really been pumping up Humble Pay. Um, he's
Yeah,
really into.
yeah.
Let's see, ETX going live. Absolutely. I'm gonna end up doing probably a show, another DigiByte show, because I only really covered the history of DigiByte, which is really important, when you're especially when you're new to the market. My channel is really aimed towards entry level investors this time around, and I'm trying to preach about the mistakes that I made,
Okay.
um, and how you can really mitigate your risk by a couple different things. One is doing your own research, researching companies with utility, companies that have been tested
Hmm.
over time. And of course, technical analysis. And the thing that people kind of got misconstrued was thinking that technical analysis is extremely accurate. 100, it's guaranteed. You can use this, you can use Elliott waves, you can use MACD, and it's going to make you money. However, that's just simply not true. You could have the perfect pattern set up, and it'll go completely opposite of what you expect it to do. But it is an extremely useful tool to help you mitigate risk alongside other things like the company you're investing in. And as far as DigiByte goes, the one thing early on that I didn't appreciate, that I appreciate today, of course, is the fact that they are decentralized. They weren't funded by an ICO, and so in a time of an ICO rush, 2017, obviously it wasn't being looked at. There was Jared Tate, a super super smart guy. He wasn't that Brad Garlinghouse. He wasn't that Justin Sun because he knew that he didn't have to be. It You can't necessarily be that guy in a decentralized coin. And now I really appreciate the fact that he didn't really try to step up and be that type of character. And maybe I really haven't kept up with what he's been doing over the last few years. But just as a spectator, as someone who is, studying the market, every day, people were wondering like, when's Jared Tate gonna pump this coin? When's he going to do this? Partnerships, make me money. But you guys gotta understand, yes, he is the brains. He brought us this extremely useful, blockchain project. But it's up to the community. It's up to every one of you who are in here taking your time to listen to guys like us, fanboy out on crypto because you're interested in learning about companies and cryptocurrencies that matter. And that's really what I'm all about. I really don't want to get into hype coins and meme coins because that's what they are. You know, they're get rich quick, and a lot of those guys are going to make a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. A lot of those Doge boys, they probably made a lot of money, but in the long run, I don't think that they're going to make a lot of money as they will over the long term. You know, especially if you are inexperienced and you've never traded, you don't know market trends, you might miss the boat and you might panic sell, and then you'll end up kicking yourself later. And it's something that I've done. It's something that we've all done. So this is a really good. That first bull run was a really good learning tool for us to use this time around. And so far, the coins that I personally love talking about are performing extremely well because they're extremely useful and they have a network behind them to prove it.
Yeah, you know, well, when I think about Justin Sun, I think he's doing a lot of PR, a lot of stuff that, I'm the man, I'm going to get some stuff done. And I mean, let's face it, he's done some things. Look at BitTorrent, right? I mean, shoot, I mean, Bitcoin, operates on the BitTorrent network. I mean, it's the way I understand it. But by the way, we don't do. I can't do a prediction. Maybe Cosmic Nick, Crypto Nick can.
Let's
But if you
see.
could, yeah,
Larry M, what is the DigiByte price prediction for 2021? Well, in my opinion, and I'm not a financial expert, based on what Bitcoin has done and based on what several other altcoins have done, I do believe that DigiByte is on its way to test that all-time high in the next month or two. I believe is about 11 cents. Whether or not it breaks through and tries to reach a new all-time high remains to be seen. Okay, especially and that's what we're talking about right now. Is a lot of people don't know about DigiByte. Um, and it's kind of hard for me to say what the sentiment is as far as people that have just now started talking about crypto because I'm not that. I haven't been. I don't know what it's like to learn about cryptocurrency right now. So I don't know what it's like to hear about DigiByte or what newer people are talking about. It's usually just Dogecoin. When I started promoting my channel on my Facebook, it I really just got bombarded with messages about whether or not they should get into Dogecoin. And to your point earlier, you were saying, if a lot of people are talking about it, you might want to put $100 in or so, and that's totally fine. Get $100 in Dogecoin, especially if it keeps getting the attention that it's getting. But to counter that point too is the questions and inquiries I was getting about Dogecoin was really right when it was at its all-time high. And so if you're really asking yourself, hey, is it a good time to get into Dogecoin? It's most likely not a good time. And you might want to hold off on a little bit to watch it settle down. And that's just so you don't lose a little bit of money and start panicking and then end up with nothing.
yeah, and getting back to Tron, he markets well. He does the PRs, and he comes from a world that they do that really well over there. Um, but at the same time, I watch this thing, as it is now, they got, their dApps, and they got things going on. I've seen it, like several of them. But when I was watching this thing roll out, I was like seeing all kinds of just some things that I just disagreed with at the time. So like it's kind of like a night and day difference what you see, much like Ethereum's issue with, well, it's got to scale, we got to figure it out. Is it sharding? Is it whatever? Um, so like Tron, they like literally copied the Ethereum white paper and said, this is Tron, this is what we
Yeah.
did, and for people that saw that and they're like, well, no, you didn't, but because it's just a little strange that happened. It really pulled me back because I was already into, I'm already into, the decentralized aspect, like let's go back to decentralization. Let's just go back to open source. Let's make it that everybody can use it cheaply and make it secure. And I'm already bought into that.
Hmm.
And once I have that mind frame and facts, and when I see something and someone's not generally, should I say completely or generally, or just didn't say anything about what it was that everybody saw, um, it turned me off a little bit.
Yeah.
But now that you see where it's at, it's almost like let bygones be bygones, because like Jared. See, what people don't understand is Jared is his own man, right? And yes, he tweets about DigiByte. Yes, he's doing some things in the background for DigiByte on his own accord. And he's the founder and creator, right? But the thing is like people can't distinguish what he says according for the good of all the crypto space.
Hmm.
And some people say, hey, he just attacked CZ. He just attacked Justin. And yeah, he did. But like I had to do now it kind of derailed me because I'm in the DigiByte community. So it derailed me to look at both sides, and I just kept seeing it like over and over. Like, okay, so I just saw him as like John Connor,
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the like kind of like taking a stand on something, which I didn't know anything about until I looked into it.
Yeah.
So, but after that faded, stand with DigiByte, it did fade. But the thing is like, um, did he create enemies? I'm sure he did, but the very fact that he took the hit for the overall crypto space, if whether he felt like he needed to say it or not, he did it for people's security. I mean, I remember Poloniex. He made a huge statement on Poloniex, right? It wasn't just Poloniex is restructuring or changing or shutting down, and Justin's taking it over. And Justin kind of denied it at the time, but you saw signs in China with pictures that his face was with Poloniex, and it could have been doctored. Who knows?
Yeah.
But like Jared stated, and if you look into it, it's true that the original Poloniex platform was basically not going to sell it to any foreign entity. And that's what happened. So that's why he came out and said that. Now, all our information was sold through that network, that site, that exchange, and was given to foreign entities. And I'm not just saying Justin, right? I'm saying that those keys got handed over. And then the leaks from Binance and all that, and it's just really crazy. So yeah, and he had to take a stand on it, and I thank him for it. But now that that's over, now that what I've noticed, there was a lot of people that didn't like that. There's a lot of people that said that's okay, he's his own guy. But the thing is you see, or I saw a lot of people leave the space for some odd reason. It wasn't just because of him in some aspects, but just got like purged out of the community of DigiByte, like literally purged.
Yep.
And then you start seeing the real players of DigiByte, and that's when I started focusing on Jared, Josiah, Matthew Cornelius. And I made new friends through the process, right? Blaz is one of them. I say Blaz all the time. Laura Taylor. So these are like, and Michael and all these guys around that time, you start seeing the real players shine through, and then you start doing more research. Okay, which person's doing what? Who's got the skills? What are we looking at? Oh, we got a team over here. Oh, we got a team over here. Oh, we got a network over here. what's the purpose? Is now I started focusing more on the community than um, people hating or liking what Jared's saying, because he's doing that on his own accord. I can't tell the guy to stop or keep going. But I down deep down in my heart, I did cheer the guy on for sure, and
Yeah.
he did take the hit for not just the DigiByte community, but for everyone,
Yeah.
like everyone that was on Poloniex, and people just despise him for that. I don't know, but the, but I think that's dead and gone right now. And I think DigiByte community and the core team is really like focused right now. I know that for a fact. We got new people from Humble in researching DigiByte. We got people from other networks and from AMAs in other countries getting on board with DigiByte, because these AMAs are like, pretty much one on one, with people that are communities, chats, followers of another, crypto or business model or country. And this is what the awareness team is all about. And we keep going with the awareness. At the same time, we have hardcore developers hard at work. I mean, I've seen it, man.
Yeah.
I've seen it. There's things coming, down the pike that's going to be mind blowing, in my opinion. And that's DigiByte is on track. I do have to say, DigiByte is on track. And anybody can step up. Anybody can step up in the community of DigiByte. Um, so yeah, there. I mean, I'm even looking at it right now. I'm looking at stuff right now, that I can't talk about. It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
just awesome.
You know, I mentioned this in the DigiByte show. It was clear after that last bull run that the sentiment on in the DigiByte community had drastically changed, and that's kind of like what you mentioned as far as the purge. A lot of DigiByte maniacs had left the space because it didn't perform necessarily in the way that they had hoped. They had a little glimmer, a little bit of spotlight, and it kind of just seemed like it was 15 minutes of fame, 15 seconds of fame, and then it was all over onto newer things. But and as far as Tron goes, you guys are gonna hear me compare Tron and DigiByte quite often. Not necessarily because they're the same. They differ in a lot of ways, but they're both extremely undervalued and underappreciated still to this day. And Justin Sun did have it was a night and day thing, like you mentioned. I watched the testnet launch. I watched the mainnet launch, and I saw this kind of shy, really quiet guy who could barely speak English. Not that that matters, but it was really hard to kind of understand what was going on in the U.S. with that company, and so he got a lot of a lot of backlash from that. But eventually, he started wearing those mink coats. He started breaking out of his shell. He started being a little bit more confident, and then he started going after other companies, like Ethereum. And that's kind of what really started that backlash against Tron and Justin Sun just doing too much, not able to keep his mouth shut. Now, this is a disadvantage for an ICO coin with a guy like Justin Sun at the helm, in comparison to a community in DigiByte. Now, in a coin like DigiByte, you're only as strong as your community, like you said. And a lot of people had left, but it's very evident, especially on the charts, that DigiByte is back on track. It is refreshed. It seems like there's a new community with some OG guys for sure. You have to have those older guys, but it's like a new day for DigiByte, and it's in a clear uptrend. It's fighting. It's fighting for its life, and
It is.
I really, really hope to see it break the top 50, to really get some more mainstream attention. And I think that's going to happen Um, if people kind of do what we did the last bull run, when this bull run is all said and done, if Bitcoin comes back down, 20, 30, 40,000, and it settles down for a few years, people are going to be wiser. They're going to say, okay, I'm going to be ready for that next run, that big time run. And I'm going to start studying coins that matter. And it looks like DigiByte has been here this entire time. It's still fast. It's still cheap. It's still developing, building new partnerships every day. I think it's used by over 600 companies. I think I read in the March update, either DigiAssets or something like that. Yeah, DigiByte mass adoption is increasing. About 600 companies are accepting DigiByte in the directory, and soon will be launched a marketplace with goods and services that you can buy with DGB, and that's huge, man. I mean, not a lot of companies can say that, just to be used in a marketplace, and we haven't really touched on the secure authentication part of it, which I believe, in my opinion, is something that really can drive DigiByte forward. We've already seen how it could have been used, with Facebook's 560 million user hack. Everyone's data exposed, no privacy, no transparency. When something simple like DigiByte could have prevented that by eliminating third-party data transfer. And just think about how many other companies that we hear all the time talking to Congress, getting in trouble, that can benefit from something like this. And of course, DigiByte's not the only one, but that on top of its extremely fast payments, it's extremely cheap. It's all there. It's all there. It has the makings to be a top 10 cryptocurrency, and it very well might be.
So, um, listen, like I don't know. So you've watched, the Tate interview. There are some things coming and working, and because there's a lot of disagreements sometimes between people, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get over those little bumps in the road, and then it's back to work. Now, I believe, in what I've seen, a lot of people go to the telegrams and ask questions, and some of them are just hype, like, boy, DigiByte went up today, woo, what's the target? And the responses from us, that's you're talking, why don't you go to the TA room, the DigiByte Waves telegram, the price speculation channel? Because here we're talking business, here we're talking development, we're not talking speculation. We know what we're doing, right? if you have something worth your while, you can contribute. But right now, we don't want to talk about dollar DigiByte. That's pointless.
Right.
But there's a little bit more. People get rubbed the wrong way. Oh, they're just rude, like, or they treated me unfairly. I'm like, no, I saw the comment, dude.
Yeah. It's so amazing how quick a blockchain company can be hated. It's so much easier to hate a crypto than it is to love one, as far as mass adoption is concerned. Because
So are you? Yeah, yes, that's true. Are you familiar with the upcoming launch that was supposed to launch in January, but um, we had some bugs, and so the developer Matthew is working that out. And man, the more I hear about it, the more this is everything that DigiByte community has been crying for. Like at the top of the like, where's the marketing? Where's the development? DigiByte doesn't have anything. What is DigiByte trying to do? This is it. I mean, we've seen what. Here's my take on it. Because it's a UTXO blockchain and it has 5 algorithms. It's got soft forks, hard forks. Extremely hard to do when you have only volunteers that are good at what they do. Probably the best from Apple, Android, and and their own software companies they work for. They do it on their part time and have sleepless nights in some cases. they're really good with what they do. They had time to watch these other Ethereum dApps and take a look at it. Now, because it's a UTXO blockchain, it's going to have a different ecosystem than what we're seeing with the ERC20s, right? With the dApps. Mm-hmm. What it is, it's like right now it's like a glorified what it appears and smart contracts for DigiByte, basically executing smart contracts in a way where people can build on the DigiAsset platform. An easier build, a better view of what it is, not just one, not like the digits and here's what it is and pay a little DigiByte. No, I've talked to a developer, a guy. He's I found out he was a Christian. I need to get back with him, but he developed on DigiAssets and he made a game on an asset NFT on DigiByte. No one's done that. It's a full-fledged game on the asset, and you can generate wealth within the game. Now when I saw that, when I read that, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, And I talked to him, and sure enough, yeah, he's like the JPEG art, all those, what you see on Ethereum. This is the first of its kind game, and he chose DigiByte to do it. And he's also training people to code on assets yourself, and after you take the course, you're going to be able to create your own game. Now I'm thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's no surprise why somebody would want to do that, on the DigiByte blockchain. And that's another thing too, is, the NFTs, the craze, the hype that it, just in this last week, it seems it just exploded. Everyone's looking for newer things to jump on that hype train with. And I think I read it on Jared's Twitter, but he's like, DigiByte's been capable of NFTs for a long time. It's like, yeah, but of course with a company that's not, or a blockchain that's not being talked about the way that these hype coins are being talked about, it kind of slipped under the rug. So the capabilities have been there. It's just really mind-boggling.
So, well, you have a lot of on Ethereum. I can't quite. There is an Ethereum community. I just can't quite see it to the most extent of as what you would appear like your next door neighbor being friendly. Mm. It's either you got major skills or you're gifted, and you're using the dApps and creating your own things, utilizing what's been given to them right out of the gate. They're on point with it, right? We're not, they're creating NFTs. There is a marketplace. All you have to do is do the research and make it happen. NFTs has been there for a long time before it got popular. Yeah. Same thing with DigiAssets. Okay, it's just the DigiAssets. We were giving it around when it came out on the Apple app for DigiByte app, the Android. People were just creating them for next to nothing and handing them out. Hey, look what I got. And everybody's, getting 20, 100 assets at a time. And we're seeing it in a structure that, like Mike, DigiByte or DGB SoCal, he started just wanting to look into it and make these assets where you can connect links and all that. Well, but there is value there. And in a way, the assets were formed in a base way where it's like a link tree for an artist. Like their Soldier Boy had an asset created for him and put all his links and payments and all his websites all in one little asset with a picture. And anybody can have that asset on their DigiByte wallet, open it up, and get linked to whatever Soldier Boy is doing, like on tap. So, and the only thing that you would have to, so that's a permanent asset. You can't change it once it's created. But on the other side, where the websites can be changed, right, as long as you connect that URL, So that's cool, but we're going to see a whole complete restructure. Um, hopefully, is my guess that how these assets interact with people, how people can use them, is going to be a lot different than what people are seeing with DigiAssets today. So there's like a marketplace for DigiByte or a DigiByte broker or the broker site where you can throw your asset on there and sell your asset. Um, and that's what we've seen, right? There's createDigiAssets.com. You can go there and create your asset, um, and then put it on these broker sites or marketplaces. But it's not like what you see on the Ethereum side where people have skills. They were like the first movers in all this stuff, like
Yeah.
early, like 2 years ago, NFTs were going on. Um, but it took a while for nomad artists to be seen by the bigger artists, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with a lot of price gain as well. But yeah, I mean, here's what I see. If I chose, DigiByte. If DigiByte goes up and it makes me some wealth, then so be it. But I'm not going to take it and run and have my own island on somewhere.
Right. Right.
Like I'm going to contribute as much as I can to the project, and I'm not going to jump ship. And then here's why: it's because it's due. It's due. None of this. Volunteers can only do so much,
Yeah.
but professional volunteers can do a lot, and that's what they've been doing. But they also been doing it with their own money. And we also have a development fund, a marketing fund, and a general fund that I pretty much brought awareness for the newer people and the older people, because sometimes you're like, oh yeah, that's why DigiByte hasn't been doing anything,
Right.
because no one's donating to the fund to do it. That was one of my videos. I was like, feed your dog, guys. Don't invite me over your house, and then I see your dog all shackled with its ribs sticking out of its side with no food. I mean, feed your dog.
Yeah.
What are you doing? So that's gaining traction. And yeah, the marketing, it's there. All the funds are there. All the volunteers are there. The leaders are there. The capability is there. The connections are there. It's just when you only have $100 in your marketing fund, you ain't getting very far.
Right.
And what people don't understand about a community like this, if they're in DigiByte, if they say, I love DigiByte, or go DigiByte go, and they're not contributing, I'm not singling anybody out. I think everybody does that. But if they're not contributing to that fund or the development, and they're crying about, well, my wallet don't work, but we'll resync it or learn how to use it, right?
Right.
It's still on the blockchain, so don't worry. But like they gotta contribute to those things because that's how we are built as a community. The DigiByte blockchain doesn't just fix your issues. The community and the help support does, and and whatever you want to see. Everybody has something to contribute, whether it's an idea, but for here's some advice for everybody. If you have a great idea, don't share it.
Yeah.
Talk to the right people. Don't blab your mouth about the great idea. Um, but like every one of us in the community has the ability to tap into contribute, to look deeper in what can I do. If do you have a skill or do you not see the skill? Maybe sometimes it takes someone to see the skill to show you what you're able to do. It could be funding, it could be writing papers, it could be helping in the support channels, it could be all kinds of things. And basically, that's what DigiByte community needs to get in their head. They
Right.
need to contribute. They need to have time, just like the core members. The core members give it all they got, and I know because I see them.
Right. And that's something I wanted to ask you too. Um, and we've seen it in the past few years with a lot of people seemingly running, from the Ethereum network to other networks. Recently, alleged like 100 companies moving from Ethereum to Cardano.
Mm.
And of course, you're much more connected into the DigiByte community. What are you guys hurting for developers? How are your numbers doing good? Does it take more people or does it just take more money? what does this community need to do? What do these people in this chat need to do to accelerate this? I mean, not that it needs to be accelerated, but to get it the attention that it deserves.
Yeah, yeah. So I think just to answer the development part, I think anybody can step it up. If they're a developer, a rogue developer, or they like you like, it's mainly here's the thing. The core team has marketing. Their main function is awareness, DGBAT, DigiByte awareness, and they have the DGB bats, right? The advocates, right? So there's two channels, right? The core team, the core group, right, is the core group. Like they're voted in. Like people could ask to be there, or they could be and have a vote, and then they either voted yes or voted no. The advocates, though, anyone can join that, and the other one doesn't make it where, like, the core group doesn't make it where no one can make it in there, right? They like to see people prove their worth to the community, right? What do people, are they a value? Is that person valuable? Are they going to backstab us?
Yeah.
Because these are the issues that any group has to work with. They don't want to work with children. They don't want to work with hype machines. You know, they don't want to work with backstabbers. You know what I mean? They need honest people and people they can trust, and the only way you do that is get involved with the digibats, the advocates, right? Or if you're like a YouTuber like myself, and you just like communicate with the people, because I'm not a developer, but maybe I'm a lot more of awareness than I am a marketer.
Sure.
But at the same time, I am trying to do all I can for the DigiByte phenomenon.
Yeah.
I call it a phenomenon. So I try to push myself in the envelope. I try to push further. I try to learn. I just recently learned that anybody can talk to the DigiByte blockchain using the core wallet. So there's just so much more than charts and money, right? And gaining gains. And they despise, the core group despises that. But they're not going to tell anybody to say, well, you can't say DigiByte goes to $1 this year. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just who's going to be part of the team. Who can they trust? If you're always talking about the hype train, or future targets, and that's your goal, is to convince people this is what it could be doing. I'm not your financial advisor, but what it could do is hit $1. They don't see that very useful at all.
Right.
It's a fine line. But the development, to get back to your question, the development side is they have first of all, yes, everything takes money. The volunteers that are involved in the development, they get it done regardless. There's so much givers in there, but they only have so many hours in the day after their full-time job, right? And then they work, different schedules, different sizes of the, what continent are they on? Yes, I think developers are much needed, but what most of the time we run into is people demand money,
right,
or they need money, right? But in that aspect itself, it's not that much of a problem. If the developer can develop an app and build upon DigiByte, go for it, and that's what it is. That's exactly what it is with Ethereum. A developer made a dApp that everybody mimicked, right? And went from there. It literally took somebody to get paid, or a Ethereum team, to do that, and that's just like the DigiByte core team or the developers that contribute. I mean, if if you know code or contribute, you can go to GitHub and contribute, and they vote to see which upgrade is better, right?
Right.
For DigiByte to be synced up with the blockchain and make it perform. So there's a lot of people that know how to code. There's a lot of people that know how to debug. It's the thing. The thing is, anybody can do it, and that's the problem. I think what it is not enough people are saying, "All right, I'm going to try the DigiByte blockchain." Now, of course, Jared admitted, they purposely created DigiAsset asset layer, so it's really hard to, you know, um, do that like what Ethereum did because they didn't want to get because it's their server and they didn't want to get sued because someone created an ICO. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Because it becomes the servers, the owners of the server, right? Their fault for being able to do that. But they are developing things that are going to make that easier. Okay, and all it is everything takes a little bit of cash, and that's why I recently saw myself that hey, I can have the DigiByte Comm talks, which is great, but I'm also going to continue to raise awareness for funds. And here's the reason: I'm not trying to shake people down. That's not my goal. My goal is to convict the people that shout DigiByte needs more marketing. Well, then fund it.
Yes.
Why are you crying about that? What you're basically telling me, I'm not very good at what I do.
Yeah.
I fund it. Do you fund it? Why are you saying that? Who are you yelling to? Like I made a point. Are they yelling at Jeff Bezos? Are they yelling at? Are they yelling at? Well, we don't have an Elon Musk. I don't hear that. All I hear is DigiByte needs marketers or a marketing team or what. We do have a marketing team. We do have a marketing channel.
Yeah.
We do have people that come in there with their best. In fact, if you have a marketing idea, come over there and share it in the marketing telegram for DigiByte because we're always open for ideas. The thing is when you go up in there and ask, hey, how you doing? Uh, is it who's running this channel? What's up? No one's going to answer you
Yeah.
because there's only so many, like I said, hours and minutes in the day that these people that are basically admins and helpers in the channel, they're not trying to they're not trying to baby people that are demanding right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
They want to help people, and if you have a good idea, let's work together. And that's pretty cut and dry about what it's all about. So my purpose that I see is bring more awareness to the funds because I have a window in. I can see what's going on. And then I see the issue at hand. And then I see the community. So I got to be careful within myself how I approach that as well. Like I can be the middleman. I shouldn't say middleman, but the mediator between how I can help out. And one of the main issues with the community is, like just every community, but one of the main issues is maybe someone's still in the DigiByte, but they're super bitter, and they complain. I have an angle to their complaint and how to answer that. That's where I'm trying to develop myself now. And I'm trying to find myself useful in that aspect. But developers, yes, more developers are welcome, right? Whether if they're looking for money or not, but it's a grassroots movement. Everybody has to understand it's everybody does this on their own free accord, their own money. We do that together. We're not here. I mean, where are they going to get the money? The money that we develop or put into the marketing and development and general fund? Is that what they're looking at and say, how much are you going to give me? you know?
It's a huge a huge misconception in the community that because you are a blockchain project, a company that's been around a long time, that you automatically, have $1 billion, and in the early days of DigiByte, like in 2014, there was that $250,000 private investment to build services around DigiByte, and that's not a lot of money, in my opinion, to pay people to develop for. It takes a long time. So yeah, and I'm responding to Ron E. In regards to whining about money. Yes, in a way, as far as development goes, money is necessary. I mean, would you continue to work for years and years, if you didn't have a fund? DigiByte, you know, needs millions of dollars, and it's a decentralized blockchain. It is not that Tron, with a billionaire CEO or owner. It's not that XRP, that financial institution disruptor. That being said, just go to the DigiByte wiki page. Look at the list of milestones and accomplishments that DigiByte has. Now put a dollar sign next to those accomplishments. How much do you think that it costed to achieve all these milestones? Because I believe that DigiByte was able to do just as much as any other blockchain project in the history of blockchain for, a fraction, with a fraction of the money that other projects had. And that says a lot about guys like Jared Tate, Josiah, the community, the core members. So
I'm trying to figure out what Ron E is stating here. I like to reason. I much like reason. So he said I was making excuses. Ronnie, what are you talking about? Oh, the awareness team is a fail. Oh, okay. Didn't know, Ron. But look, I'm not here to bash Tron either, and because they've done some great things, and but I just settled in with the DigiByte community. That's it. But I want to know, what do you mean about making excuses? You mean about DigiByte's development and all that? Well, my thing is what I saw is the funds for the core team that do vote, by the way, to see which wallet needs to be developed, what domain they need to purchase. You got to understand, people also do that with their own money. Ron E. You got to understand that. Now, does it take a little bit of load off that the whole community can participate in that? Yes. We're not asking the community, hey, you over there, pay for this domain name. You know what I mean? Like, do more. Well, if you don't know how to do those things, and you don't know how to do your own research to do that, and you're like, you know what? I did too, man. I'm just going to throw $100 at it and say, hey, purchase that thing. I contributed until I get a little bit more knowledgeable. But, but again, like, dude, when you say, I'm sorry, Cosmic Nick.
no worries.
If you say, Ron, that the awareness team is a fail, first off, I am a part of the awareness team. I'm a failure then. Anybody that brings forth DigiByte to your neighbor, your son, your daughter, your dad, your mom, your friends, your church, your organization, you were an awareness member, whether you like it or not. Same thing, I'm like a Christian. If I talk about Jesus Christ and how he lived according to the Bible, I'm bringing the truth. I'm witnessing to somebody about Jesus. Okay, so it's a fail because there's no awareness. Check the volume, sir. Well, but you're using the money, seeing the money on the charts about awareness. That's not how you look at things. Sorry. You
Did
don't look
big
there.
did Bitcoin need an awareness team? We need to be reasonable here, Ron, and I'm not trying to cause any friction in this channel. However, Bitcoin has 21 million coins. It's significantly less. That's a pretty small supply. Not only that, it was the first digital asset that people saw as a great alternative store of value. And so that's just simple supply and demand. You can't compare. You can compare DigiByte to Bitcoin. I've called it Bitcoin on steroids just because of how fast it is, how cheap it is. But I mean, you can't put them in the same realm as far as price is concerned. I mean, that's two different things, two different supplies.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of mixed people in the chat, and it's kind of cool. Now, but I'm going to say this one thing: did Bitcoin need an awareness team? They did have one, by the way. Sorry, everybody that took a stand and said, you know what, Bitcoin's the future of payments. It's an open communications layer with public utility and a ledger that everybody can see, and it's it needs no middleman. I guarantee you, people brought awareness to that. Look at the Winklevoss twins.
Yeah.
Look at everybody like MetaMask. The owner of MetaMask. Are you crazy? How do you think we got here? By word of mouth, by how great this thing is. And it all started with supposedly one man, Satoshi. No one knows who it is. And that person brought the awareness of that blockchain to a few guys. So I don't know, guys. I mean, I just see the people that complain about anything. I see that they're misinformed. If you say DigiByte's the best blockchain, but
He
you
has
say
a he has a
awareness,
million.
but the awareness is a failure, right? Then what's going on here? Like,
Looks like he said he had I have near a million DigiByte. Well, there's obviously a reason why you have a million still.
oh,
I mean, what's there to complain about? You obviously see the use in having near a million DigiByte. I don't understand.
oh, wait, Ron right now is volunteering because there's no awareness and no interest and no volume. He's going to start pumping it. He's going to tell people that have more interest in DigiByte, and he's going to start posting up signs on the highways, making commercials on BAT about DigiByte. Thank you for volunteering.
I would like to know what people expect as far as marketing goes. I mean, what do you have in today's day and age? You have Twitter. You have expos. You have CryptoCons and Reddit forums, and I don't know what else you think a decentralized project is going to do as far as marketing goes. It's up to the community. It's up to you guys to market. You are invested in this company, are you not? You can't sit back and wait for things to happen. And I think that's true for anything in life. Be smart with your investments. If you're not happy, maybe you can find a cryptocurrency that has a really strong marketing team that fits your needs.
In fact, anybody can step it up and bring awareness or marketing to their favorite cryptocurrency. People do it every day. Like literally every day we get new people on board to crypto space. It's easy to say get into crypto. That's in general. You're talking about thousands and thousands of communities, possibly millions in crypto that no one knows about.
Yeah.
And you do it by stumbling in their feed or their chats, or someone invited you. Not the scams. I'm not talking about the scams. Word of mouth. There might be a community for Ethereum, and you've been in Ethereum your whole Ethereum life and found out that there's hundreds of channels about Ethereum and what they're building and bringing awareness to and what Ethereum does. So it's not about tearing down any kind of blockchain, but to base it, to say that there's no need of awareness because DigiByte doesn't need it, right? Ronnie stated, "No, I'm not because I know DGB doesn't need it." He's talking about the awareness thing. Well, if you didn't have people, then you wouldn't have DigiByte.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Lori Scott gets it. Thank you, Lori.
Lori,
Did you?
Lori Scott. Lori
She has an
Scott.
awesome community, all volunteers, open source. You get it. You know what you're talking about. That's the attitude that you have to have. There's no point to have a bad attitude when you're investing. You know, it's not going to get you anywhere. Um, SC, we got to get Kanye West to start talking about DigiByte. Is Kanye West still? Is he still a thing? Is he still popular? I don't know. Let's get Coinbase, guys. I've talked about this a couple of times in my show. It really, it's really interesting what kind of exposure a Coinbase listing can do for a company. And there was a lot of skepticism a few years back about companies paying a really big fee to get listed on Coinbase. And I know Justin's son may or may not have tried to do something along those lines. Justin being Justin, but Coinbase is its own entity. It's gonna do whatever it thinks is gonna make it a lot of money, and it's just really hard to tell. It might be something that you want to just kind of put out of your mind for now, and even then, a Coinbase listing is only gonna get you so far. People are gonna buy it up, and then what? Hold on to it. Continued development is where it's at, and I think that's true for any coin.
Yeah, and the thing is you have to admit other chains got a little bit more love, and we've stated that over and over and over again. But again, like you have to, if you go back to Jared Tate and his humble beginnings, man, that man got went everywhere and talked about blockchain, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Doge, DigiByte. He wasn't just one-sided, though. He was going back to the main theme of every presentation is he founded DigiByte, and there was a group of developers that helped build it. Okay, because he saw this is what I'm saying. Like anybody can be a Jared Tate. People can step up. I'm not trying to make excuses, by the way. I'm trying to step up, and that's what thought I was doing. So if you don't like that, guys, then sorry, I can't please everybody. Right?
Another thing too is a lot of people don't understand that it takes a lot for a person like yourself, a person like myself, to put themselves out there on a stage. Especially when money's involved, which a lot of people are here for. It takes a lot for people to stand up and try to gain exposure. It's not an easy thing to do, and any one of you that thinks that it's easy, you're wrong. So that's why it's always good to have a community like DigiByte has. I have full faith, and I have full faith in the DigiByte team. I said it on my last show. It's a sleeping giant. It's one of the most undervalued. I think it's the most undervalued cryptocurrency in the market, and that's only one aspect of it. It's underappreciated more than that, though. People want to make a lot of money, but they fail to recognize the extreme uses. We're talking about a new wave, a new era of technology, similar to computers, similar to cell phones, and it might not be really focused on until maybe 5-10 years from now, after the fact, when it's being used by everybody, because eventually, make no mistake about it, blockchain, especially blockchains like DigiByte, are going to be implemented into everyday lives. And I'll mention BitTorrent just for a small second. BitTorrent's already being the protocol is already being used by MySpace, Facebook, Lionsgate, movie companies, data storage protocols, and a lot of people don't know that. So it's really going to be used, and it's just going to take that one major entity to adopt it. That's going to set the mainstream investors off, and Just wait and see. I'm not right about everything. I don't claim to be right about everything, but at some point, it's right in front of you. It's right there in front of you, and it's just a matter of time.
Oh, so I get it. There we go. I understand, Ron. Here's why I changed. I used to do just nothing but news for DigiByte,
Mhm.
and I only did it because Matt from Cryptocurrently stopped doing. He took a break. He had I think he had a kid at the time, but he needed to take a break. Um, and Matt from Cryptocurrently, in my eyes, was the news guy. I had to listen to him about the news of DigiByte, and my me stepping in there trying to do the best I can. I realized I had to come to terms within myself. I can read the news. In fact, I was even trying to figure out the next day, how am I going to bring daily news about just one blockchain? And I tried, and I thought I did pretty good. I had thousands of views on it in some cases, but I found out my I have a Ron E. I have a confession. I tend, because I'm human, to um, what? How do you say fib, or tend to highlight something that really wasn't there. And I'm more of a people person, and that's why I rant to stir up the community. Because let's just face it, I want to be able to talk about the things that no one wants to talk about, right? I want to be able to encourage people. I want to be able to. Uh, I don't like setting people out, but if I have to, I will. But the thing is instead of setting people out, trying to figure out where they're at, like you, Ron. Me trying to figure out what you're saying right now is really hard for me, but I want to know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to give up on Ron E here. He's saying everything from, or you're, you're saying everything from, watching the Moon Boys squirm because DigiByte didn't pump or whatever, and then you're talking about I need to talk about the fundamentals, and I'm just not very good at it. I'm waiting for my friend Matt from Cryptocurrently to talk about the news of DigiByte because he's just so good at it. I can't be what I'm not. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I just can't do it. I don't know how else to say it. It's tough for me now. But I can read articles. I like to glorify some of the things that the DigiByte teams are doing. In fact, we have so many factions that are all over the world that are part of the team that I can get lost looking in the other stuff, like the Nigeria effort of DigiByte over there, the Europe, Dutch, even in India, guys. So like, there's so much things that we could talk about, but the thing is, I already stated those things. I have older videos. You guys want to see what DigiByte's doing now in other countries and still in development today? Go watch some of my older videos. It hasn't changed. But I do like talk about what's coming around the pike, like like Antim-ID is on Microsoft Azure, uh, a plugin to secure your identity on accounts, and where you don't have to remember passwords, and you don't have to worry about anybody hacking you. Um, or DigiAsset X is going to be a game changer. There's other asset platforms that are going to be using DigiAssets as well that I can speak about. Um, I think there's one called HODL Assets. That's going to be one, and basically you can just stream through like a combination lock and just stream through all these assets, DigiAssets. There's things in the works, guys, that also that aren't being told to me, and I can't talk about the ones I do know. So it does. It's like I gotta walk that fine line. You gotta understand. But I love to rant. I'm sorry.
Luis, Luis Rodriguez. You're totally right. DigiByte will grow organically, just like Bitcoin will, especially as your transaction speed, your block times, they get faster over time. It's just setting itself up for success. And one thing I wanted to ask you too is how are you mining your DigiByte these days?
Who, me?
Yeah, you said you were mining.
Yeah, well, the problem is I moved from my house that I was mining into another house that I got all set up for the big mining. I'm talking about big mining, dude. I'm talking about I can stack 20 machines in this one area, okay? Um, and I can remotely talk to the miners and make sure they're running properly from my computer, right? But the problem is I can't. It's just the weirdest thing. It's like I can't get in touch with Bitmain themselves to scrub whatever is on the code read that's not syncing up with the IPs for my the ports.
Sure.
They're not seeing it, or they do see it. It's just seeing the old IP. So it's driving me insane. I've even had people that mine DGB with L3 plus script miners look at this and say, I don't know, man, you gotta fix that. And I don't know if it's an account thing. I try to start a new account to um, through Bitmain to read my miners, and still nothing. It's not even on the hardware level itself. I did the reset on the miners to reset the miners. It's still reading from Bitmain like my old account, and it's a whole new account. I can't erase it. So yeah, that's what I was mining, man. I got amp miners, and I
Yeah.
can't run a single one of them. And I've been I thought it was an internet issue.
Yeah.
It's not. Well, as far as I can tell, but I'm gonna ream them too consistently. Like I talked to techs over there at Google Fiber that they make it almost impossible for you to connect. Like I connected one of these machines to my brother's house, and it fried his Google Fiber hub, fried their box,
Wow.
and they're like, "What did you connect to it?" My brother lied to him. Nothing. I hope Google Fiber doesn't watch this.
Well, Ron E, I'm glad to have met you. That was a good comment. It's fine. DigiByte needs no help. Well, all right then. Let's just wait and see what happens. It looks like some great things coming down the pipe. I personally can't wait to see what it does, especially in the next 5 years. Um, Maybe some of you should start thinking about holding long term, and I'm glad that I was able to be on this show too and really talk about some of the development aspects. My channel is mostly focused on mitigating risk when it comes to investing in such a volatile market, learning from mistakes, and really just being patient, waiting for long runs. And we're going to start getting into a lot more TA. I'm just trying to really make it a point that TA is very, very, it's not everything. It's only one of the ways to help you mitigate risk. You could do a TA on a pump and dump coin, and then what? It didn't do you any good. It's still pumped, it's still dumped, it's gone. Not as much so today as a few years ago, but doing TA on companies or blockchains like DigiByte, that might do something for you. So just hang on. It's been 7-8 years, but I mean, wait until 2025. Um, and shows like this are just going to accelerate that, to bring more exposure. Share with your friends, share with your family. I think this time around, this bull run, a lot more exposure on cryptocurrencies, especially with Bitcoin being adopted by big time institutions. A lot of flip floppers, ton of flip floppers. I'm gonna do a whole show on that too. All the all the people in the last 10 years that have. I think I had a meme on my last show. It was Jamie Dimon or Damone or whatever. He's like, um, "We'll never buy Bitcoin," and then the next one is like, "What did we buy in at?"
Yeah.
It's really coming around, guys. The market is still volatile. You know,
Oh yeah. My thing, Nick, um, like I said, and it's okay. I asked permission to talk about DigiAsset X. It's something we can all talk about. The thing I can't talk about is, like the release of something that's out of my control or the development side of it that's out of my control, right? But I can talk about it's an exchange for DigiAsset X. And as far as I can tell, without getting stupid about it, um, it's going to be just a better machine. Okay, it's going to be like some of the things that some of the other big boys are doing. But you got to remember, this was all done by someone's free accord, and I don't want to hear anybody talk bad against it. But they can, sure, why not? But back to you, Nick. Like I'm not sure if you quite answered me, but I asked. So how did you make the 360 the 180 change from your first episode, which was what, a month ago or something? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Like, and now your look now, like what flipped in your head saying this is what it's going to be, because you like got the mic here,
Yeah.
the everything down low, and you're like, dude,
When I first started the channel, it was really going to be formal. It was going to be mostly just informational. Eh, I kind of felt uncomfortable. I thought that maybe that's what the crypto community was interested in. However, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel in my element. So I'm like, okay, I need to kind of just settle down. I need to kind of feel more in my zone. And I started noticing that, I'm a family guy. I'm married. I have a 5-year-old daughter. I don't party. I don't do none of that. On the weekends, I like to look at crypto videos. And on a Saturday night, a Friday night, Saturday night, I would love a place where I can sit down, and turn the lights down, relax, and just, hear things like crypto. Not only that, but like current events and just how the world is changing with blockchain. So, and first and foremost, I'm a musician. I've been writing my songs for over 20 years, and I always had this dream that I would one day be able to have my own studio. And it took me 10 years to do that. And so a few years ago, when I finally had gotten my own place, I built this studio, from the ground up. It was just this cement slab basement, and I built it over the course of a year and a half. And so I was making music, I was recording my album, and then I was like, I want to do something else here. I want to use this studio for something else. Well, I love crypto. And so when I'm not doing my music, I was like, I want to start making videos on cryptocurrency. Now, I would love to have some lights. I would love to make it kind of talk showy, but more so relaxed and such. So I think from the first video, I was very disorganized. I didn't know the layout of my show. I kind of just wanted to rant, like you like to do. We like to rant about our experiences, which is easy to do because there's so much that has gone on in the market. And so I think as each show went on, I started talking about XRP versus SEC, existential crisis within government control and things like that. And I started to get fired up. I want to talk about real world issues and what if world governments try to step in and stop us from earning a living. And I just became really passionate about it. And then as the show started going on, I started to get more organized. I started to kind of divide it into segments. And with that, with the organization, I started to get a little bit more confident. I started to become who I feel comfortable as. And man, this last DigiByte show, I really, really loved it. It was our best show to date, not only because we're talking about such a monster coin like DigiByte, but because I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to look for underappreciated coins who I believe are sleeping giants based on their development, based on their history. And so now that I've gotten my first interview out of the way, thank you so much, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, it's only going to help me from here on out, and I really hope to have you on my show one day.
Sure. I this is what I like to do. I like to see talent. I like to see people that's starting up, getting gutsy. You know, um, and plus I like to continue these DigiByte Comm talks, and that's one thing I did notice. Your DigiByte uh, video was you got a lot of history with it, and that's what kind of like struck me. Like, okay, I'm listening to the other side of the coin, so to speak, where someone walked away from something glorious in his mind and moved on, and then 2 years later came back and just reviewing,
Yeah,
rehashing those feelings. So I wasn't there.
yeah,
If I did that, it would probably be Litecoin. For me, like go back and just review what Litecoin's doing, right? And I just, I am still watching Litecoin, but I believe that DigiByte just does it for me, you know. But I do look at like Algo. I do look at Cardano. I do look at. It's funny to even say this one, but Graph, like out of the blue, Graph, woo, right? But I mean, I do my due diligence to watch what's going on, but to see somebody on the other side of the coin that did leave something that I know today that I've journeyed through and walked with, um, was kind of intriguing because you didn't at first I was like, wait a minute, I'm watching this guy. He's about to say something. He's about to say it. No, he doesn't say it. Well, he said something. Okay, he didn't really say it, but he's coming back. He's coming back. And then I'm what? You got me emotional with it, dude.
it was the high school sweetheart, and the crazy thing about it is, and I, I'm a sentimental guy. I like to think about big picture stuff, and to come back to DigiByte and see that it's still what I saw it as. It's still just as attractive to me as 5 years ago. But not only that, the DigiByte community, just from me being on Twitter the past few days, I just got a new Twitter account. They welcomed me back with open arms. It's so eager and so happy to be involved in this project, and so that's really refreshing to me. And I'm glad. I'm not glad that I left it behind and kind of just moved my money elsewhere. But I am glad that I have a chance to kind of come back and rekindle that love for DigiByte, and it is going to be, in my top five just as far as what I look at from here on out. And I truly believe that it's just going to be a shocker, um, a tremendous shocker.
Yeah, I really believe so too. I also wanted to say I probably can. Um, I also wanted to say was I love the fact that you. I didn't know your dad talked to you on every episode, but I love the fact that your dad's hip, he's down, and now that I hear the story that he's the one that was showing you about it, it's cool because and then he kind of had the same kind of walk with you, but it looked like you, by the way, you two don't well now that I can kind of see your face, okay, I can kind of see you're the son.
Yeah.
But it's really cool that you both kind of had bags of Digibyte, as you put it, and he kind of regretted it a little bit, but the same talks go on and on about Digibyte. Like there wasn't like continual like people stepping up, major corporations getting involved. Like when you look at the all these other blockchains, I mean, straight out of the gate, you see people backing Ethereum, and then you got this long list of people backing Ethereum because they're invested. I look at DigiByte because they didn't get any of those huge like 20, 30, 100 people backing it, businesses. You have a community instead. They're on the bottom floor. They're really, Now you see what I'm saying? I see DigiByte and coins like it, communities like DigiByte, really, really having a fair chance and equal shot. You know what I mean? Like I'm no better than the next guy. Who am I to step on this other person like they're an ant, right? But at the same time, I don't want to be bought.
Yeah.
You know. So I've turned down several things, even just in this thing that I'm doing, for an offer for something else. I'm like, but my heart's not in that. You know. So,
In a way, yeah, Ethereum's another one of those head scratchers. It just kind of seems like they just waited a little too long and kind of got left behind. Of course, they're going to be, the OG dApps, developer network. And it really, I wonder why it just took such a long time to take care of their congested network, their extremely embarrassing high fees, while, all the while you got hundreds of other projects fixing that problem already. And of course, Cardano has its own hype as well, which is another head scratcher for me because, yeah, Cardano might be a great company. Um, Nothing bad to say about them, but they're not the best company. There's really not too much that they have to offer that you can't get elsewhere. And it's just something to think about, especially coins like Dogecoin. It's essentially just a transfer slash payment coin, which makes it no different than any other cryptocurrency in the market. What do you have to offer that's different? Or do you have everything to offer, i.e., DigiByte? So I guess it's just the way you think about it.
yeah, I think DigiByte is the approach of how it's built to be faster, cheaper, more secure, forward thinking blockchain is don't bloat it. The moment that, now don't get me wrong, you could put things on DigiByte, but the goal, the way I understand it, is let that thing go full speed ahead and just touch it, build upon it through the asset layer, through the communication layer. Don't build, the whole world on it, then it's going to become Bitcoin.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And unfurl. So the problem is that's the difference. Ethereum has been so bloated that it's got issues, and no one they probably saw some issues. Maybe a worker that got paid through Ethereum said, "Hey, listen, team, if we don't fix this issue, we're going to have some issues down the road." In fact, I listened to some of the developers behind Ethereum early on, and they were mounting with each developer has a concern that needs to have an issue taken care of. And then all of a sudden it got pinned on one guy. I'm like, come on, guys. Come on. You guys pinned it on one guy because he decided to take a break on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
That's another thing. That's another. I don't know if it's an advantage or disadvantage, and that remains to be seen. Whether or not having a face to your project is going to do you well. It's really easy for mainstream investors, mainstream media to look at a guy, whether it's Charles Hoskinson, Jared Tate, Justin Sun, whoever, and judge them, whether it's what they say, how they look, how they carry themselves, and run off with it in a certain direction, and people will follow because that's what people do. I don't blame them. No one wants to invest in a coin that a lot of people hate. However, when you become experienced in the market, when you study market trends, you've learned to eliminate risk, and you really look at the technical aspects and see that it's an extremely useful project, that you can compare to any other altcoin in the market, and it's better, then you don't have to worry about any of that hype. You don't have. I mean, how many coins have made it through that? Not a lot, and DigiByte's one of them.
There was also a massive campaign for these ICO projects for developers. I've seen a lot of projects come and go, and mainly was because their developers that were creating those smaller blockchain projects got bought, got hired somewhere else, big time. I saw that that was like a first mover advantage for uh, these platforms and Ethereum. Like they were bought, they were hired. Anybody that mentioned that they were a developer or they understood blockchain, they got paid. They went from one project to the next, right? I mean, those were smart moves if you had money,
Yeah.
right? And it became a machine. The problem is, I use this all the time, and it's one of those things where an entity or a community, an organism. Uh, Look, it all starts with a man, right? And then it becomes a movement, right? So it starts with a man, becomes a movement. Everybody believes what the man is has brought forth, and becomes a machine. So you see this expansion, man, movement, machine. The thing is you don't want the original idea to become a monument. Like, look at the achievement that we did, and then no one uses it.
Right.
You always want to continue to have the movement in the machine process. You don't want to succumb to the machine. You want to continue being the movement.
Right.
As long as you stay fluent like water, like a movement from the original idea without becoming so machine like development, like hire a bunch of people, machining development, continue to be that movement, continue to be inspiring from the original idea. If you go past as an organism or an entity or a blockchain and the community or the developers become past the machine into a monument, you have dead weight. I look at other big time monuments like they're still ticking, but they still are a monument for the most part. You look at old successful entities and communities and organisms that actually became a statue, just dead weight. They never continued and figured out how to move with the culture, move with the people. They became so money hungry they just fell off from the machine
Yeah.
part. How do we manufacture this like a machine and just be a standard, make a copyright? This is what we do the best, and then that those people just get caught up in the machine process where they become a monument where everybody can see it. Oh yeah, I remember them. You know, they weren't able to change. They weren't able to adapt. You know, they weren't able, and a lot of times some of those things are on the other way around. They become a chameleon, right? And then what they're doing is shedding skin, multiplying in the background, like they're doing it in secret. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I just always believe in the original vision. How do we make it better? How do we move this? How do we continue moving people? Just like music gets you moving. But then if it's the same old song,
Yeah.
you're working to it, then you kind of get bored, burn out on the song. It becomes like Aerosmith or something on the radio. You're like, yeah, I heard that over and over and over and over. And then before too long, time passes by and it's Aerosmith. They had some gold records, whatever. Like, but man, I know that it depends on how long you want to go, but
Yeah.
my wife is going to be um, shutting her eyes soon.
I'm in the same boat as you, brother. I just want to tell you, I really appreciate you having me on. Really, really nice to meet you. I hope to stay in touch, and I truly believe that as the channel grows, you will have a huge hand in that. So thank you once again.
Yeah, no, thank you for. I didn't expect you to reach out to me. In fact, the way you talk when you message back, it didn't even remind me how you presented yourself in the video. So really cool guy, Nick. How does everybody find you?
So you can find me on Twitter now at Cosmic Crypto Nick. And the YouTube channel's just Cosmic Crypto. And you can also follow my dad, Danny D, at Danny D Crypto. That guy knows a lot. I call him the father hodler because this dude has done nothing but accumulate Bitcoin for the last 5 years. Um, and he's on the verge of retirement. I don't mind telling you. I really it's good to have a guy like him on the show because yes, we are trying to trade a bit. And to be fair, to be honest, I don't trade that often. I make maybe 10 trades a year depending on how the market's doing. It's not that often. I look for bottoms and I look for tops basically.
So
So
you basically swing crypto.
yeah, and sometimes I'll try to trade that third wave. It just depends on the coin, and so I'm just trying to really harp on the things that you can do to mitigate your risk of loss. And of course, you only lose if you sell or if your coin goes bye bye.
Well, all right, guys. You know where to find Cosmic Crypto Nick on YouTube and Twitter. Actually, Cosmic Crypto Nick is on Twitter and Cosmic Crypto is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Guys, go check out the video he just did. Go subscribe, tick that bell. If you're anything like me, moved by my emotions, you will be moved. And overall, God bless, man. I hope everything works out for you, and just continue doing what you do, and everything's going to work out. And I hope maybe I'll return on your show and kind of get Space AG over here too.
God bless you too, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, stick around. But wave to the people.